I want to use a few minutes today to talk about something that isn't trending, it isn't loud, and it isn't being explained very well. This isn't breaking news, and it's not a crisis today. It's a signal. There's a bill that was introduced in the U.S. Senate called the Exclusive Citizenship Act of 2025. And before we go any further, let me say this clearly. It's not law, okay? Nothing has changed overnight, but bills like this tell you something about how certain people are thinking, and that's why I want it on your radar. The premise of this bill is what it calls exclusive citizenship. In simple terms, one citizenship, one allegiance. If you've never lived outside the United States, that might sound abstract. But if you have, or if you have family, work, or roots in more than one country, that language lands differently. Because what this bill is really questioning is whether dual citizenship should exist at all. As it's been described, the bill would put people who already hold dual citizenship in a position where they would be expected to choose. The idea is that after a limited period of time, you would need to renounce your other citizenship or be treated as having lost your U.S. citizenship. It also targets people who voluntarily obtain another citizenship later, treating that as grounds for losing U.S. citizenship. Now, that's not a small thing. That's not about people doing something wrong. That's about people living real lives in a world that doesn't fit neatly inside one border. Dual citizenship happens for a lot of very ordinary reasons. People are born into it. People marry across borders. People move for work, for safety, for family, for retirement. It's administrative. But when you start reframing citizenship as something that must be proven through exclusivity, that's a shift in how belonging is defined. And I want to pause here because this is where people usually say, well, it's just a bill, it'll never pass. Maybe it won't. But bills don't only exist to become law. They also exist to introduce ideas, normalize language, and see how much resistance there is or isn't. And citizenship is one of those areas where once the framing changes, it rarely goes back the way it used to be. For people living abroad, citizenship isn't symbolic, it's practical. It affects where you can live, whether you can work, whether you can stay with your family, whether you can remain legally where you are. It's the quiet infrastructure of your life. So when you hear language about exclusive allegiance, it's worth asking. Exclusive for whom and at what cost? I'm not saying this bill is about to upend everyone's life. I'm saying it reflects a way of thinking that sees mobility, plural identity, and international life as problems to be corrected rather than realities to be managed. That's not a judgment, it's an observation. So what do you do with this? Don't panic. And don't dismiss it either. If you're interested, you can track the bill yourself. Look up S.3283. See if it gets hearings. See if it moves out of committee. That's how you can tell whether something is just an idea or starting to gain traction. And if you're a dual citizen or living abroad, as I am, this is just a reminder to stay informed about your own status, to keep your documents in order, and not assume that things are fixed as they once felt. Most changes like this don't arrive with sirens. They arrive quietly in language long before they arrive in practice. That's what Word on the World Wednesday is about, noticing the quiet shifts. If this was helpful, please feel free to share it with someone who lives internationally or has family across borders. And if you want more of these slower, clearer looks at what's unfolding around us, you're in the right place. That's the Word on the World today. Thanks for watching.